Long time no see, and happy
Mm.
holidays. And welcome back to the Purple Rain podcast. Welcome back to episode 147 of the Purple Rain podcast, the Will Demps episode. I think that's the only player to wear
Mm.
47 for the Ravens. But yeah, welcome back.
I was thinking.
Yeah, I'm using him on NFL Street. What a game that was, by the
Mm.
way. Um,
Oh, definitely.
yeah, one of the GOAT games. Welcome back to the Purple Rain podcast. Haven't seen you guys in a while. We lost a game, but we won a game. But most importantly, we clinched a playoff spot since we were gone. So that's the big news. But first and foremost, shout out to the Rain Gang. And you can follow us on Instagram at the Purple Rain podcast. Follow this guy on Instagram at Sutton Def, on Twitter at Sutton Def. Follow me on Instagram at simplyas10.prod and on Twitter at simplyas10. And most importantly, Manscaped. All right.
Yes.
Yesterday, right? I was opening gifts. Listen to this. The moms hooked me up with some Manscaped boxers, right? Use the code
Right.
PRP. Use the
Ooh,
code. Yes.
look at her
Yes.
supporting the channel. That's a double gift right there.
Right.
Love to see it. Oh
So
yeah.
shout out to moms. Shout out to moms that got me this nice little setup, thankfully. But happy holidays, everybody out there. Hope you had a great holiday. That Ravens win was kind of like a gift. Playoff berth, like a gift. But how have you been?
You know what, man? I've been pretty good. There's been our ups and downs. Of course, like we talked about, we lost a game, we won a game, we're in the playoffs. So emotionally, when it comes to the Ravens, which is why we're all here listening to this podcast right now, I'm kind of stressed out. I'm kind of all over the place, to be honest with you. I'm going to get into why when we get into our topics for the night. But I am happy to see you again, Alex, and then everybody else in the chat, the live brain gang. Again, like you said, go on manscaped.com, use our code PRP to save 20% off of your order. Also, free shipping. You guys know business is
Yeah.
business. Um, but look, man, let's go ahead and pull up some people who are in the live chat tonight. We'd be remiss if we didn't. Yolanda's in the house. Says, good evening, PRP family. Hope everyone is well. Thank you for coming through, Yolanda. Hope you're doing well as well. And hope you're having a happy holiday. Spooky J is in here
Yes.
as well. Says, I wanted the Bengals to lose, man. I don't know if you guys can see my little board up here. Says,
Bro.
Bills Mafia.
Ramondre Stevenson. He picked to have the absolute stinkest of stinkers, not only
Mm,
playing the Bengals, but also in my fantasy semifinal. Ramondre,
oof.
we have beef. We have beef.
Mm. You know what's crazy? In my fantasy semifinals, I was going against Cam Akers. And he had 3 touchdowns last night, 33 fantasy
The,
points. And now I'm behind.
the
Yeah.
the one game. The one game he
Yeah.
decides to show out. Yeah, I
Exactly.
mean,
Exactly.
it's insanity. Insanity.
But on the bright side, though, I do still have Justin Herbert and Keenan Allen who are playing tonight on Monday Night Football. So maybe that tandem can get me like maybe 2 touchdowns. I'm thinking
I'm
100 something
expecting
yards.
some Herbert. I'm expecting 3 touchdowns from Herbie tonight. I'll be honest.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, we'll,
Yeah.
we'll get into that a little bit later too. Get into our Monday Night Football props. All right. So let's see what else we got in here. Devon Johnson here says hashtag replay game. Yes, let's go ahead and get that out of the
Yes.
way. If you're not watching this episode of the Purple Rain podcast live, thank you so much. And you're part of the hashtag replay gang. Make sure you go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel, and any thoughts, questions, comments, concerns that you have about this episode, leave them down below in the comment section.
Indeed.
Because we love the replay game. We love getting back to you guys on the back end. All right, so Yolanda says the Ravens scoring a touchdown was definitely a gift for sure. Definitely. Cam is in the building as well. Says
Cam.
PRP, pray y'all enjoyed the day yesterday. Absolutely. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you. Boz says, yo, Rain Gang, what's going on, Boz?
See you
Appreciate you for
Sunday.
coming through. 410 Byron in here. Let's see, Elvito 52. Mod K Dog is in the house as
Yo.
well. You already know what it is. What's going on, K Dog? Jabari Cruz Ellis says that fumble.
Bro. Yeah. That's all we have to talk
We're gonna
about.
get into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. K Dog says smash that damn like button. Let's go ahead and give our 5 seconds of just silence while you guys like the video. Let's go ahead and start that now. And thank you so much for liking the video. Hopefully you've done it by now. Subscribe to the channel if you are new as well and you enjoy the content that you are consuming currently. All right, let's go ahead and get into what we came here for, Alex. We have been away for a while, but
Yes.
We have a lot to talk about because
Indeed.
the Ravens, like we said, lost a game, won a game, clinched a playoff berth. Some players got hurt. We don't know when other players are coming back. So we're going to get into all of that right now. But dating back to that Browns game, what did you take from that? What were you so frustrated about from that Browns game?
Everything. It was a shit show. Outside of the defense, it was just the
Yeah,
way we lost. It was the offense. I felt there should have been a short leash on Tyler Huntley. I thought Anthony Brown, I'm not going to sit here and say he was a godsend, but he was able to manage the game. Huntley just didn't look, he looked nervous from a guy who his first game coming in a playoff. I mean, more time in the playoffs, he looked more
yeah,
nervous in a Saturday night against the Browns than he did in a Saturday night in the playoffs in the divisional round against the Bills. So just that, I felt we went away from the run game, which the Browns I think have one of the worst run games in the league. Went away from it.
yeah.
I don't understand that, and just letting Deshaun Watson beat us really it disgusted me. It disgusted me. But uh, they're out there at the playoffs now, so they can enjoy sitting at home again, the Browns way. But we
Talk
did
about it.
bounce back. We did bounce back. But how did you feel about that weird Saturday night game, snowing, all that?
Ooh, oh man, I was so pissed off after that game. I can't even.
Yeah.
Just thinking back to that day, it was a bad night for me, to be honest with you, like mentally, because what our offense put on the field that day was just absolutely pitiful,
Mhm.
absolutely fucking pitiful, dude. And the fact that we had J.K. Dobbins averaging how many yards a carry?
I know it was like over 5 or 6. It was
Over, definitely over six, I want to say.
yeah.
And we just get away from handing him the football in the fourth quarter. Like I don't think he got a single touch in the
Nope.
fourth quarter. Like what's up with that? What's up with
Nope.
that? Like if the running game is working, stick with it. Obviously, we do not have that high octane passing offense that the Bills have, that the Chiefs still have, even without a Tyreek Hill. That people say that the Chargers have every now and again. We don't have that. We don't have those skill players. We don't have those players at that position. So run the football. Run the damn football.
Mhm.
We do have our first super chat donation coming from my guy Raven Ron.
Raven Ron,
Appreciate you,
what's going
Raven Ron,
on?
man. The first one to make it rain here on this episode 147 of PRP. Thank you so much, bro. Says we won and clinched with help, but what the fuck is with Huntley and missing Andrews in the
Yeah.
red zone and when Andrews is open?
Andrews was pissed. Andrews
Yeah,
was. That's the most emotion I've seen him negatively. I've seen him positively, like the Salt Bay, all that, like his touchdown celebration, but negatively, that is the most emotion I've seen that man give. That was insane. He was visibly upset, felt he was open. Uh, I know he's upset he's not, getting the touches he wants, getting the targets. It's because he's
right.
just covered all the time. He's triple covered, double covered. We've been talking about this for how many years, and we don't have the receivers to take any of that attention off him. And this is what happens.
Yeah, yeah. No, you hit the nail on the head with that one, bro. I mean, that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what's happening. Teams are able to key in on Andrews because of the lack of skill players that we have at the wide receiver position,
Yeah.
which sucks,
Mm-hmm.
and there's no way around, there's no way to fix that this season, which is why I'm going to be like dead honest about like our, realistic expectations about the ceiling of this team when we get into
Yeah.
that in just a little bit.
Okay.
But thank you so much, Raven Ron, for your super chat donation. We appreciate you. Yeah, hopefully Andrews does get more involved, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be
Yeah,
tough.
and Raven Ryan made another great point. He said, "Why is Harps pulling JK in the fourth quarter?" After that Browns game, actually, I don't like to get in my feelings on Twitter, but I had to put this out. I said our best offensive player today was taking accountability when he has / never was the problem. That was JK saying it was on the offense, how they didn't finish drives, kind of put it on himself. And I said, I wish the coaches showed that same energy. Um, JK Dobbins isn't the one putting him on the field. It's the coaches saying, well, you're in this package. You're in for this play. There's no reason why
Yeah,
J.K. Dobbins, who was averaging, I think Spooky J said 9.5 yards, no running back averaging 9.5 yards a pop should be ever apologizing for the way the offense went. That is above and
yeah,
beyond. And that really lit a fire in my behind because I'm tired of hearing the players apologize for the coaches because they do not deserve it. Even the defense, um, it just really annoys me because you have 11 guys apologizing instead of it should be one guy be the coordinator or the coach apologizing, and it just does not happen. And Greg Roman will apologize, but he said we, not me. Take some accountability. I'm tired of it because the players can
yeah,
do it. The 21-year-old players, 22, 23, 24, but the 50 some, 60 some year old man can't take accountability. Really? Come on.
And here's yet another super chat donation from Raven Ron. Thank you so much, bro. We appreciate you. Says, keep it raining. Blows my mind how JK runs over 100 yards in Cleveland, and we go away from the run. Yeah, I mean, exactly like what Alex was talking about, man. It's just there's no excuse for like what happened in that Cleveland game, if you ask me. With how J.K. Dobbins has been looking better each and every week. Why are we not like upping his workload? Like it just seems like every time that one of our players on offense starts to like break out or like show some sort of like transcendence, we go away from them. Like we don't force the issue. Like you see what the Packers do with what Aaron Rodgers does with Christian Watson. I don't know if you guys watched that Packers game the other day, but they were trying to force feed Christian Watson since that's their best offensive player, and it was working to a degree. But then he ended up getting hurt. That's a whole different story. But listen, man, JK has been getting better and better. I think we need to just start, kind of putting more on his workload, more on his plate, exactly, so he can eat. Same thing happened with Rashad Bateman, if you ask me, earlier in the season. He was getting a lot of good targets, a lot of good looks early in the season, and then kind of tailed off. We were going away from going to him, which didn't make sense to me, but, here we are. Here we are.
Yeah.
But I think that falls on coaching, like you said.
Hey, and Byron says they even have Justin Tucker apologizing. The greatest kicker of all time. The kicker that Jags fans were worried when he trots out for a 67-yard field goal.
Yeah.
You have him apologizing when that man has done nothing wrong, I feel. Nothing. Greatest kicker of all time, and he's apologizing. There needs to be some accountability. That word is not in the vocabulary of our coaches at all.
And then you saw what Tyus Bowser posted on Instagram after that Browns loss.
Oh my. I'll let you inform the people. I mean, I think everybody knows, but you can just fill them in.
Yeah, I mean, if you weren't aware, after that Browns loss, Tyus Bowser, I guess he was outside of the facility, the Ravens facility or hotel. I can't remember exactly what, but there was like little pieces of paper on the ground that all said "Fire Greg Roman" on it. He was like recording it, and he was just like, "Well, all right then." And I think just the sheer fact that he posted that kind of said something. It was right after the game. I'm sure there was a lot of frustration in the locker room. The players know. The players aren't dumb. The players are just like us. I mean, they're young adults, so they talk. You know what I mean? So it's like I think that there's speculation in that locker room about like who's really at fault when it comes to our struggles. And I think that was kind of just like a little bit of a frustration move. It was like a frustration post. But then he had to walk back, apologize to Roman too.
He recorded it, typed a caption, posted it. There's 3 different steps, and he went through each one of them. And I wholeheartedly believe he agrees with that statement to fire him, because that he wouldn't have posted it or even captioned it. There's no hate towards Tyus Bowser. He's been balling out since he's been back. I think everybody was behind him too. The only thing I saw beat reporters saying how a crazed fan did it. I don't know if people who have been to the castle. I know I went there for the training camp. No crazed fan is getting into there. There is security everywhere. So don't blame it on the fans if you don't know. I'm just gonna leave it there.
Right. Yeah. 80 people watching live already. Thank you guys so much for coming out to this episode of the Purple Rain podcast. Make sure you like the video while you're here. Subscribe to the channel as well if you're new. We'd appreciate it. And thank you so much, Raven Ron, for your super chat donation. All right.
Great conversation.
Let me see. I saw a comment in here from my guy Cam. Yeah, Cam says Sutton.
Yes.
It's the Ravens' way of keeping offensive player stats low to keep them affordable. Just a thought. That's a very interesting theory you got there, Cam. I'm gonna chew on that for a minute. We do have another super chat donation, though. This one coming from Laura with the 20-piece. We appreciate you making it rain here on this episode of. Yeah, I know. I love it. Thank you so much, Laura. Says, hey guys, what do you guys think of Shannon Sharp basically saying his title this morning that Lamar is gone from the Ravens? All this talk and all the negativity is not doing anybody any good. What are your thoughts, Alex?
Tackling Stephen A. Smith there too. I was surprised to see him say what he said, basically saying that the Ravens need Lamar. Lamar doesn't need the Ravens. Yeah, it's not good signs. Just hearing it nonstop. Thankfully, we do have the franchise tag. He won't play under it. But if you can't look at this team and see how mid we are without Lamar Jackson, God save you. I don't want to be like the Jets that has Chris Streveler playing in a primetime game because your number 2 overall bust is terrible. Like that is I saw Jets fans atrociously down bad. They are begging for Lamar Jackson. Other teams, Dolphins fans, begging for him.
Yeah.
And some Ravens fans believe that we shouldn't keep him. Okay. Just get ready for that QB carousel. That's all I'm going to say. They need to do everything they can to get that contract out. Let them put that money. I know it's not going to be fully guaranteed. That's an outlier. We keep saying it. But you got to meet with this man somewhere. You have to.
Yeah. I think so too. But at the same time, just knowing the philosophy of the Ravens organization, that front office, like they don't want to pay players big time, especially unproven in their eyes. Go back to the 2012 days with Joe Flacco. Right before he won that Super Bowl, he was in contract negotiations, and they were like, "Hey, you got to prove it to us before you get what you actually want." He went out, he proved it. They gave him what he wanted. The difference is this year, I don't think this team. I don't know. First of all, I don't know how serious this team takes itself without Lamar Jackson starting at quarterback for one. And if he were to not play for the rest of the season, I don't see us making a deep playoff run. So if that doesn't happen, say we get bounced out in the super wild card round, whatever, I think that's going to basically be the end of Lamar Jackson in Baltimore, honestly. I've been on the record saying that I think Lamar Jackson actually has played his last game as a Baltimore Raven. Harbaugh at the press conference today, when asked about will Lamar practice anytime soon, he's just like, kind of snide about it. I don't know. We'll see. I guess we'll just have to see. You know what I mean? And it was kind of the same thing last year. So all signs to me point to like he's not going to come back, and there's really no reason for him to come back because what is he even coming back to? I mean, he's coming back to a great offensive line. I'll give him that. He's coming back to a great running game. I'll give him that. A great defense. But when it comes down to throwing the football, which we know in the postseason, you have to be able to do that efficiently and proficiently.
Yeah.
If we don't have the weapons to do so, then again, what is Lamar coming back to? But thank you again for your super chat donation, Laura. We appreciate you so much.
Thank you, Laura. New around here. Welcome if you are. It's, and even just going to last week's news, signing Sammy Watkins. I'm probably gonna get a little hate for this. I kind of was in favor of it when he got released. I'm like, honestly, I wouldn't hate if the Ravens got him because for 5 or 6 games last year, he played pretty damn well. So we can get 5 or 6 good games from Sammy Watkins. That's this upcoming week 18, wild card, divisional, conference championship, Super Bowl. If we could get 6 good games, who knows? But I thought it's kind of necessary because who else do we have? Tylan Wallace is on IR. James Prochet is obviously not reviewed as a chain mover in this offense. Devin Duvernay is out for the season. Makes even more sense to get Watkins. So we have, we have the old Chiefs roster without that guy, Tyreek Hill. We have Demarcus Robinson. We have Sammy Watkins. Who knows? We could call McCole Hardman this offseason and try to get them all back. The Legion of Zoom without Tyreek Hill at this point. I don't know. But if I'm looking at Lamar, I'm like, what have you guys done to support me? Honestly. Deshaun Jackson and Sammy Watkins have 2 good hamstrings by themselves.
Oh, God, that's not funny.
Yeah, this would be a kick-ass receiving core in 2016. This would be dope, but
for sure.
Without
Alex spin facts right now, y'all.
on Madden, if the Ravens would be that team in Madden with it's Deshaun Jackson and Sammy Watkins, bro. That's the team. But right now, man, not looking good.
Well, I mean, as we all know, the Ravens wide receiving core is known for being a retirement home for veteran wide receivers. So it makes sense. It adds up. Again, the philosophy of this organization, that's what they want to do. They want to run the football. They just got lucky with getting a Lamar Jackson. Ozzie Newsome, that was basically just his farewell pick. He was like, hey, I think this guy's really good. Nobody's picked him yet. Got him. And then, here we are 4 years later. But we just haven't really done all we needed to do to surround him with the talent that he needs and that he deserves to transcend to that next level, like all these other quarterbacks around. But we do have another super chat donation. Got to get to that one. Yeah. Chike, my guy Chike, chiming in as usual. Thank you so much. Making it rain here on this episode of PRP. Says, who should our next head coach be? I'm going Sean Payton.
I'm thinking Sean, but I'm thinking McVay. He's running from the grind. He's running from the grind with the Rams. I think we'll have Harbaugh one more year. But I mean, if Lamar stayed, Sean McVay, he'd probably take a year off, come on back. That'd be my dream. But I don't think it would happen. But that's my dream is Sean McVay a coach. Or Kyle Shanahan.
I mean,
But Shanahan's
oof.
not leaving the Niners.
Just great creative offensive minds, you know. So like our offense can actually open up and blossom into something that we know that it could be. Um, but it just seems like the coaches that we have now, they're kind of stuck in their ways, you know, and they don't really seem too privy to change. So, you know, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But going
Can
ahead
you
and
can you
what's
bring
up?
up Sports Gaming YouTube's question real quick for me? He says, "Do we think EDC is handicapped by what Greg Roman wants to do in an offense?" And I think this is a fantastic question. I
Hmm.
don't think EDC is handicapped. I think he is handicapped, but not by Greg Roman, by Steve Bisciotti. I think Bisciotti is this formula of running the ball, you know, big bodies, heavy formations, great defense is going to win you a Super Bowl. I think that's where it lies, and I think Rick Roman is a part of that, but I think Bisciotti is the bigger role in that. I think EDC has tried. He said before how he wanted to build like a track team, wanted to build a high flying offense, and he's tried. But I think that's why I had to take these tight ends. You know, I couldn't really trade for a receiver, or tried to, but what receiver really would want to come here in this offense?
And that again, it goes down to like you said, coaching and what Greg Roman wants to do on offense clearly has not been working. Hell, I mean, it's never won him a Super Bowl. You know, it's got him to a Super Bowl, admittedly, when he was with the 49ers with Colin Kaepernick back in those days. But it's never actually given him the ultimate success. You know, it's always fell short for some or one reason or another. You know, so
Mhm.
I just think at a certain point, like if you keep failing at one thing, you have to make a change at some point. And I think that this year has to be the year where Steve Bisciotti stands up and says, "Hey, look, I see what's going on with my organization right now. I need to make a change. I need to switch things up." 10 years ago, this organization had no problem doing that, i.e., Cam Cameron, Caldwell. You know what I mean? Like I don't know why we're so stagnant now as
Mhm.
opposed to how we used to be. It's just I don't know. I don't know. But
One touchdown in the past how many quarters? Come on.
like 10 quarters. Like that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Demarcus Robinson caught the first wide receiver touchdown for the Ravens since week fucking 3. Excuse my language. All
No,
90 of you watching right now, thank you guys for joining into this
thank
episode.
you.
Make sure you like the video. But yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough, and I don't really know what we expect to happen in the playoffs if we were, you know, to try to make this run or whatever. But Alex, I wanted to get into something that I talked to you about before the show. Actually about like, you know, the seasons.
Yeah.
If the season ended today, those type of scenarios,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Who would
Yeah.
we be playing in the playoffs? Do you know off the top of your head who's like right in the mix right now? Should I look it up? Let me look that up.
I think it is. I believe it's Bills, Chiefs, Bengals, Jags, Ravens, Dolphins, Chargers, or Chargers, Dolphins. So I think we'd be playing the Jags right now if the season ended today. I think the Chargers, if
Okay.
they win tonight, they clinch
Yeah.
a playoff spot.
True. True. Yeah. So I mean, Jags. That would be a revenge game. Jags, Dolphins. Those are both like revenge games that I would love to have.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Go to
in the wild
Florida.
card round.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be great. That would be great. But to be honest with you, and also Fortune Byron mentions Chargers and
Yep.
Dolphins too.
Yep.
Do you confidently think that we can beat these teams? All three of these teams: Chargers, Dolphins, Jags, right now.
Yes. With Lamar Jackson, yes.
Now
Without him,
let's assume there's no Lamar. You know what I mean?
ooh,
Because there's been nothing that's pointed to Lamar
yeah,
coming back anytime soon.
maybe the Jags, maybe, and maybe the Dolphins if they have Teddy
I think we
Bridgewater.
could get the Dolphins. Yeah.
I think we'd sneak the Dolphins. Chargers, Derwin
To
James
be
out
honest with
there.
you, I don't know. I think we could beat the Chargers in like a slugfest. I'm talking like a
Yeah,
13-10 type game, one of those type of games.
I think without Lamar, I like us 55-45, like 55% yes, 45% no. It's definitely close, but with him, it's completely different. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, that's even if we win the division. I'll be honest, I don't want a home playoff game. in recent years, we suck at home in the playoffs. I'll say it. We are shit. The Chargers game and the Titans game, like offense just wasn't getting going. Defense was keeping us in the game, and we go away, and offense still sucked, but the defense played even better. I don't know what it is. I honestly, you would think a home playoff can really help you out, but recent years it hasn't.
No, it hasn't at all. Let me see. Cam the Baptist says, I want Miami again. They were up big and they blew it. They need to redeem themselves, players and coaches alike. I agree there. I would love to get Miami back for sure. I would love to get Miami back. 410 Byron agreeing with that. Yeah.
And that Gesicki touchdown, like we dropped 11 people into coverage. That's not happening again. And he's just sitting there grittying and yeah.
Now, you say that you don't want a home playoff game. I kind of disagree there. I would love a home playoff game. I just feel like, I don't know, this if this team doesn't have Lamar, I feel like we need all the help that we can get, you know? And again, I don't know how serious I take this team without Lamar Jackson at the helm.
But again, we're a couple of fans at the end of the bar. We're at the end of the bar right now, Sutton, me and you. Just sitting there having a drink, clinking it. What a weird comment to make.
Eli Season says here, I very much hope Lamar comes back. What motivates him to? I saw somebody earlier say he's literally just coming back to Andrews and Likely as well. Likely is a little bright spot in our offense, I feel like, at least. But Watkins, and I just don't see it, man. I just don't see this passing game evolving until one, a Rashad Bateman comes back, or two, we go out and we get another big name receiver.
Gotta trade.
We have to. We have no choice. We don't have a choice.
Yeah.
Like all the other holes, most of the other holes have been patched up on our team when you really, really think about it. We had huge problems on offensive line last season. This season, our offensive line has been one of the best in the league. Right? We had huge problems at secondary last season. Right now, I mean, our secondary is not the greatest, no, but at least a lot of our guys are healthy, as opposed to last year. Bro, we've got all the other pieces. We've got the running game back this year, We just don't have
two linebacker duo. I'll say it.
Top two linebacker duo, bro. Like,
and it may not be two. And you put them stats up. You put them stats up. They have better stats than Warner.
That's what I'm saying. Man. It's just man. They have to make a trade. I heard somebody say D-Hop. I would love that. D-Hop as a Raven would be beautiful.
And I remember we talked about this a couple months ago. Not even maybe a month ago. It's after the deadline passed. It just kind of would make sense, but with a new OC. I've seen people say Jerry Jeudy. Give me D-Hop first because what he brings is everything else. The size, the hands. There's no reason he should have one catch for 4 yards on a primetime Sunday night game. Come on now.
Yeah.
Get him in black and purple.
Please, come on, man. Let's see. Kimberly says, I think Lamar Jackson will be back at practice on Wednesday.
Do we?
Do we, though?
I mean, did you read the Ian Rappaport report by any chance?
No, I didn't.
So Lamar started running on on the treadmill. He hasn't done any football moves yet, like cutting, turning, planting the foot in the ground, making instant moves. That's the last step, I guess.
Yeah.
So I hope
We'll see. Chike with another super chat donation. Thank you so much, bro, for donating once again. Says, man, I come on the show Thursday because I am due. Man, I know you want to talk. I know you want to talk your stuff about the Ravens. You know what? Maybe me and Alex will talk about doing like a subscriber show one day, where we can have some of you guys on one by one and chop it up with us. That'd be pretty cool. That'd be cool.
Dope.
Thank you for putting that idea in my head, Chike. Thank you so much for your super chat donation as well, bro. I appreciate you.
Planning it.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see what else you guys are saying in here. Omega says PRP. Could you imagine if Lamar went to the 49ers?
If he ever leaves Baltimore, that's my preferred place for him to go. Honestly. Yeah, I think they would be so much fun to watch. They're fun to watch with the Mr. Irrelevant third string quarterback with Brock Purdy.
Exactly. Yeah.
And Shanahan got to the Super Bowl with Jimmy G, Emmanuel Sanders, and a young Deebo Samuel. Come on.
Here's a comment from DG says Dobbins and Gus are feasting. Yeah, man. Honestly, Gus had a really good game last week.
Yes.
Dobbins had some good runs too. That duo right there, you talk about a top two linebacking duo with Queen and Smith. Man, Dobbins and Gus, they're really showing kind of like what they did in 2019. 2019, 2020. They were bro, they were so good. They were so good against the Falcons. I'm not gonna lie, man. I really
Yeah.
want to see more from J.K. Dobbins. That run, I think, in the first quarter, where he ran it for like I think it was like a 12-yard run. Just all the things we talk about with Dobbins, like the burst, the balance, the speed, just the power, all compacted to that small frame that he's got.
Yeah.
It's perfect. It's perfect, man. And I can't wait to see, since we are going to the postseason, how we plan on, getting these guys the football as much as possible because we know we lack in the passing game.
And just to think there was somebody out there doubting J.K. Dobbins. Oh my! I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, the speed isn't there, but the cuts are there. The little bursts, just the vision. You can't take that vision away from a running back. Knows where
right.
to go, and then Gus. Good luck getting him down on first contact. He'll run you over. He had that
Oh,
30-yard run,
absolutely.
just 8 contact, kept those legs turning, and it really shows just how much we missed them last year. And how freak of an accident what happened was because just seeing those two out there, and that's with Huntley. Let it be with Lamar. I'm begging you. I would love to see
Yeah.
that. Love it.
Let me see. Eli Season, who is actually not a Ravens fan, says, "Does the front office just not care about scoring?" That's how I'm interpreting it from a non-Ravens fan standpoint. What do you
So
think about
Eli is
that?
a Titans fan, I know. So let's
Mm.
don't be rude, all right? Like Rodney Langford. We're nice to our Titan
Oh
fans, all
yeah,
right?
my guy
Yeah, come
Rodney,
on.
for sure.
Um, I wouldn't say scoring. They care more about controlling the time of possession, and wearing down defenses. Because if they cared about scoring, then we would take 3 points on fourth downs in divisional games.
Right.
We don't do that. Um, yeah, that's what I can really give you. Just they care about time possession and running the ball.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. I mean, I've talked about it multiple times on this very show. I mean, the Ravens football is, getting a lead and then leaning on the other team. It's like you said, like
Mhm.
wearing out that defense. The issue is when you're playing against these, like I talked about before, high octane offenses in the league, like the Bills and the Chiefs, they are going to put up points. Regardless of what you say, regardless of what you have planned, what you've been scheming up all week, what you've been scheming up all year for this specific team, they are going to put up points. Okay, so you have to be able to put up points in return. Like your offense has to be part of your defense when you're playing teams
Yep.
like that. You know, so it's not to say like Alex said, it's not that they don't care about scoring. They just prioritize other aspects of the game just a little bit more. And yeah, it's been relatively successful. The Ravens, I think a lot of people would say, are a successful franchise. They've been around for about what, like 25 years or something like that.
Hmm.
Two Super
Yep.
Bowls, I think that's pretty damn good. A lot of
Very.
playoff appearances, exactly.
The
But there
only I
is like a
think
little bit of a ceiling. Yeah,
I think the Patriots the only team that has more Super Bowls than us. I mean, Steelers have two, Bucks have two. We're tied there in second, I believe, with a couple other franchises. But it's one thing I would like to talk about. Rush, our guy, Purple
sure.
Rain Pioneer. He says
Yeah,
he likes McDonald over Wink, but McDonald's 2 minute defense has got to get better, and I can't agree with you more. Uh,
talk about it.
like the Ravens fan on Twitter, Trippy Kicka, absolutely hilarious follow says it's not the first 48, it's the full 60, and I cannot agree with that man more. It really is. It's the full 60, and like it's just the first 58. That 58 minutes, McDonald will call an amazing game. Under 2 minutes in the fourth quarter, Swiss cheese, dink and duck, just picking us apart. And with no Peters out there, we have Brandon Stevens, we have Pepe Williams, who almost had an interception this past week. Um, yeah, it does need to get a lot better because that can win or lose you games in these next 2 weeks and in and in the playoffs. So, yep, right. That exactly. It's not the first 40; it's the full 60. I love that saying. It's hilarious. But yeah, that is the one thing that needs to be improved on in this defense. Your mic is muted, Sutton. Little reminder.
Shit, my bad.
You're good.
Anyway, for what it's worth, I think that we should really give Mike McDonald some credit for what
Mm-hmm.
he's done this season, like taking over this defense in the first season. And, you know, it looked like it was going to be something, but then once we got Roquan Smith, it just really clicked and it really like turned it on. And pieces started really coming together, which is good. Now, I can like the reason why I can't really put any blame on Mike McDonald. I know the defense sometimes looks like they're bending but not breaking. They're doing that thing again, but it's really the offense, man. The offense does not do the defense any favors. So the defense has to work twice as hard because the offense is not producing, you know? So
They're
I can't
tired.
really put any blame on Mike McDonald.
They're on the
Exactly.
field too
You know?
much. Like, and
Yeah.
that's what happens. I mean,
It takes a lot out of a defense to go back on the field knowing that your offense is not putting up points.
right. And I'll tell you
Yeah.
what, thank the Lord for number 14 overall pick, number 14 on the field, Kyle Hamilton, because he was reading out screens amazing. That's
Mm,
something that was hurting us, and I think he's been playing very well. He's been getting better week by week. We look at that week 2 against the Dolphins. Yeah, he was burnt toast. He was. But since then, he's been doing a great job. I think he gave up 1 touchdown. That was a Fryermuth. But outside of that, he's been playing very well. And I'm just going to give more credit to McDonald, Patrick Queen, too. He's been, like we've always talked about it, but just leaps and bounds in the right
yeah.
spot, right time. I don't think Patrick Queen last year is getting that fumble. We saw it against the Dolphins. He picked it up and he really couldn't get it, and he lost it. This year, with his confidence, this guy picked that thing up and started running.
Yeah.
Siri came
Now,
on. I don't know why.
there you're good. You're good. Queen
Yeah.
has been playing really well. There are still some times when like he'll whiff on a tackle, that sort of thing. And then you see like the differences now. We got Roquan Smith come just absolutely clean it up. Clean your
Hard
he will
hit.
clean your clock. Like if you are not like if you're in the if you're a runner, if you're a running back or a receiver and you're out in the open field and you're not like lowering your shoulder and purposely going to hit him, he is going to take you out. Roquan Smith is an animal. Love that pickup for us. We do have another super chat donation though. Let me go ahead and get to that. This one coming from Max Offit. Thank you so much, Max, man. Making it rain here on episode
Hold up.
147 of the Purple Rain podcast.
Max is him. All right. This is the
It?
same Max
That's the same Max.
that called that
Yeah.
David Ojabo will be playing against the Browns. And granted, it was not the result we wanted. This
Only
man
played
did
once.
not lie.
Yeah.
Yeah, one defense, but he didn't lie. Ojabo played.
He didn't
Shout
lie.
out to Max for that. Huge shout
Shout out to Max, man. Yeah.
Max's sources different.
Max, please keep your ear to the streets. Let us know what you know. We'd appreciate it, bro. And thank you so much for the super chat donation. It says, what's good, boys? If Lamar comes back and plays decent, we got a shot. Defense and run game travels. I agree there. My worry is that Lamar Jackson comes back and the offense still struggles. We lose in the playoffs, maybe first round, maybe second round, sort of thing. And then we're kind of right back to square one with what do we do with Lamar Jackson if you're, Ravens front office. So I don't know, man. I don't know. You are right though. Defense and run game travels.
And there's one thing I'm excited for with the playoffs is a playoff stream. I know last time we were in the playoffs was 2020, and we had that popping before the Titans game, popping before the Bills game.
Oh yeah.
I know it's going to be even better this year. Hopefully Lamar is back because this defense I feel is better than 2020. The weapons are not. The run game possibly better, but as long as we have 8, I believe anything is possible. But we definitely need him healthy. I don't expect him to play this week. I really don't. I expect him to play against the Bengals. If we lose, there goes the division. But we're in the playoffs still, so I don't think they would risk it too much. But I want to see him play before a playoff game. I'll be honest. I do want to see him get some time. I don't want to go in there and he hasn't played in how many weeks. That's a recipe for disaster.
Right. I agree. And, there's a lot on the line, obviously, for that Bengals game. Say they lose to the Bills and then we beat the Steelers. And now it's literally all coming down to that game for the division.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a Bills fan this week. I will definitely say that. I'm a Bills fan this week. I hope they can go ahead and knock off the Bengals and then we can beat the Bengals in week 18 so we can go ahead and take the division. What are you about to say?
I think even if they win, I believe if we win out, we win the division because we'll have the divisional. We'll be 5-1, I think.
Right. Yeah.
So I mean, either way, you just win.
Out.
Just
win, baby. Come on. That's all we need. All we need. But thank you so much, Max, again for your super chat donation. Yeah. Let's see. Jason agrees with you. Says we need Lamar to play a few games so he can get in rhythm. Hopefully, he's back by this week. Yeah.
I
don't see it this week.
I would like 10 more likes. We're at 40 likes. Can we get to 50, please?
Ooh,
smash that like button.
Like the video, guys. Like the video. Yeah. Now, speaking of needing Lamar back so he can, get in rhythm and whatnot, they flexed our game. They flexed our game to Sunday night. A little bit extra time if he was going to be like a game time decision. A little bit extra, a few more hours to maybe he will play. We don't
Yeah.
know yet. He hasn't practiced just yet. Maybe tomorrow's the day. They come out and say that he's limited, and then he's more. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Taquan has it right here. Says like the video. Like the video, guys. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. All 80 people watching live right now. Thank you guys so much for coming out to this episode of the Purple Rain podcast. We appreciate each and every one of you. All right. So, Alex, what else do you have on your mind about this team? About like what's going on right now? What's going on, bro? Talk to me.
Talk to you. Okay. Well, obviously a little displeased with coaching. But you know what I'll talk about Ronnie Stanley. All right. I think I'd love to talk about Ronnie Stanley. I would love to talk about how much of a professional this man is. I think he is bounced back. I think he should be in the conversation for comeback player of the year. Probably won't get it.
Oh yeah.
But just the way his past 2 years have went, the way he's come in his first game against Trey Hendrickson and just shutting him down. Then he goes out again. Scary, almost I word, comes back, been playing very well with a different quarterback behind him who he's never played with before. And just the line in general, whether it be Tyler Linderbaum, whether it be Morgan Moses, whether it be Ben Powers, Kevin Zeitler, whether it be Tristan Colon Castillo playing at guard and playing well, Ben Cleveland too.
Right.
This line, I'm confident. I'm very confident with this line. And it's crazy because when Lamar got hurt, it's because Josh Oliver was blocking and we had a tight end blocking an edge rusher. Let the line do their job. Tight ends, unfortunately, are not blockers. They're tight ends. They can block, but this is why you built this wall. And if this line can push us, get some Yonda in them, with Lamar back there with a good run game, maybe we turn back the clock to 1970 and we win a championship running the ball. Doubt it, but that'd be something. Just giving a shout out to the offensive line because we harped on that last year.
Right. Okay. Let me see what you guys are saying here. Difference from Stanley playing and not playing is day and night. Absolutely, man. I know you guys have seen the graphic before, the stat before. Like our record with and without Stanley, it's like you said, like it's night and day. It's literally night and day. So big shout out to him. He has bounced back. Pretty much made a full recovery, it seems. Playing well regardless if he was playing quarterback. We love to see it. Morgan Moses had a really good game last week against the Falcons. Shout out to him. He was a great offseason addition. Zeitler, the offseason addition from the one before last, that was a great one too. So, yeah, the team, Eric DeCosta, I would say this. He's put a lot of good pieces in place on this roster. But there's one piece that's missing. That's the thing. And we all know what that piece is. So, yeah, I think that's why we're kind of hung up right now.
Yeah. Just that receiver.
Yeah, just the receiver. Y'all already know what it is. All 94 people watching right now know that the Ravens just are one wide receiver away from being a dynasty, damn near, if you ask me. I may be talking out my ass right now. Who knows?
No,
anyway,
I think it's fair. It's a fair assessment to make. Very fair.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I'm not crazy. But look, let's go ahead. I want to get into some questions. I want to get into some questions from the Rain Gang. Any questions that you guys might have, go ahead and load those up now. Before we do questions, though, I'm gonna give you guys some time to put the questions down there. I want to talk about tonight's game, the Monday Night Football game.
Okay.
I want to know what player props you have, man. I want to know what player props you have for tonight's game.
I'll be honest. Tobias Harris rooted me yesterday. All right, I have beef with Tobias Harris, big time. I tweeted out that when I tweeted on Tobias Harris, he was putting on like all-star numbers, this stat news account. I said, but when I bet on him, he turns into Denzel Valentine. All right. I know all about Denzel Valentine. That one hurt. But tonight, I saw there was ones like Herbert throws for like 200 and the Chargers win. Those scare me. All right. Because the Bucs last night did not look good at all. And they have one out for Brady. But I do like the Eckler anytime. I think I'd be stupid to not say that. Whether it be receiving,
anytime touchdown.
Whether it be receiving, whether it be rushing, Eckler's going to get 5 in the end zone. And then maybe because Stephon Gilmore has played well this year. Justin Jefferson did kind of expose him, but Keenan Allen is not Justin Jefferson. Maybe I know in FanDuel they have it. I think it's like 35 plus yards, I would do for Keenan Allen just to be safe. Just to be safe.
Right.
But it's coming from a guy who did lose $100 in the past couple of days. So don't take it from me.
Look, man, I like those props. I actually do like those props. I don't. The only one I'm not too sure about is the Eckler anytime touchdown.
That's always one. Anytime scares me, but I just
Yeah. Those are really scary. Those are really scary. I was thinking Justin Herbert over 329 passing yards. That's where his line is at. I think he's gonna be throwing the hell out of the football. Last couple of games, I think he's averaging like 38 pass attempts, like almost 40 pass attempts. So, they want to get into the playoffs. I think they're going to be trying to force the issue tonight. He's going to be trying to get Keenan Allen the ball. He's been targeting him like crazy ever since he's been back. So, give me Justin Herbert over 329 passing yards, but also give me a Nick Foles interception. Give me a Nick Foles interception in this one.
Okay.
Yeah. I think he throws a pick at some point, trying to keep up with the offense of the Chargers and what they're doing. The pass protection for either of these teams is not good. So I can definitely see, but then again, the pass rush isn't good for either of these teams either. But I can definitely see some pressure being put on the quarterback and Nick Foles making a mistake, throwing a pick. So those are my 2 player props for that one.
Yeah, and one more thing I'll throw in there. Let me just check his line. But Gerald Everett, I've noticed recently Gerald Everett has kind of been a target for Justin Herbert. I don't think it'd be crazy to put 25 plus yards for Everett. And Boz, he just put a comment. He said, "Me and Simply couldn't bet on a horse race. Terrible luck." Yes, me and this man's text is just about betting, and it is, it is something else. We cannot bet on a horse race. And
oh man,
yeah, I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it at that. Maybe I should stop betting on basketball. Maybe basketball isn't my calling. But yeah, I do like your picks, and if you have any of your own, we'll be happy to pull them up. So get those questions in. Question about anything, holidays, anything. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. We're gonna go ahead and kick off the question segment with my guy Taquan. Christian says, "Can we talk about how we never have time for the quarterbacks to see the defense because of how late we get out of the huddle?" Yes. Yeah. Pre-snap stuff. You have to be able to get up to the line of scrimmage, assess what's going on in defense, make your reads, make your checks, and we just don't have time for any of that.
Yeah, and it's been an issue for how many years? And then Roman's offense has been an issue for 9 years, and Harbaugh's acting like it's new. No, this has been going on. Come on.
And then it's just like kind of going back to what we were talking about with the coaching and whatnot. Harbaugh last week, I think after the Browns game, he was saying how he stands behind all the coaches, not really considering, a change, that sort of thing. It's like, come on, bro. Are you really that blind? I don't know. How many times do you have to hit your head on the ceiling before, you know?
And him saying he doesn't care what people think, what they say on social media. If you didn't care, you wouldn't say it. I am guilty of that. I think I've said that. Well, I don't care with this person, but you low-key kind of do. That's kind of what he said. And like the whole end of the bar thing, there's some things you just don't have to say, and that was one of them. Because if these fans that are really at the end of the bar, they're the ones that are eventually helping you get paid, that are filling the stands, that are buying the merchandise. You're the reason why you don't have to pay for any of your stuff because our money keeps, going into the team. So without the fans, there is no franchise. So fans, if you buy anything of the Ravens, you have a right to say what you want to say. That's simple.
Hey, you're investing in the product. So let's see. Raven Ron here giving us his props for tonight. Says Eckler anytime touchdown. Also Eckler over 92 rush and receiving yards combined.
I like that.
I like that too. Big game for Eckler.
Anytime scaring you. I know it is. Anytime.
Yeah. The anytime does scare me, man. Honestly, I had an anytime touchdown for Christian Watson yesterday. I was so mad he didn't get it. Oh my god. He had like 3 red zone targets, like back to back to back. I think they handed the ball to him on like a jet sweep on one of the plays. He got the ball like in the flat on the other play and just like tripped up right before he got in the end zone. I was like, you can't be serious right now. Those anytime touchdowns, they definitely do scare me.
It feels like it's rigged sometimes against you. It really, I'm like, I had somebody I think I had Paulo Banchero, I believe. He had 18 points in the fourth quarter going in. He didn't get one more point. I had him over 18 and a half points.
Oh my god.
I'm like, you are trolling me right now. I'm getting trolled.
Pain.
Yes.
Pain, anguish. Oh my god. Okay. Let me see. Another question here is coming from Rainmaker.
Yes.
Says, what true number 1 receivers do you think realistically the Ravens could trade for? And one more question. How hard is it for the Ravens to watch a college game and pick a great receiver from a team?
I think we both agree Hopkins is realistic. I think they're going
Yeah,
full on rebuild. Kyler Murray won't be back until I think October or November. You got to think about all that
yeah,
rehab. Think about Gus and J.K. They didn't really look the same. They were inactive a couple of games. Uh, and that was in August of last year. Uh,
yeah.
I think they're gonna blow it up. I really do. I think they're gonna do a rebuild. As for the second question, I think we have one in Bateman. I'm just gonna. I think Bateman will put up Jalen Waddle type numbers if he had a Tyreek next to him. Bateman will put up
Mm,
better numbers if he had a DeAndre Hopkins next to him. More single coverage. He cooked Xavier Howard to the house, a simple slant. Give him more single coverage, 1,000-yard plus receiver. Just get him somebody next to him, please.
yeah, yeah. I think the biggest thing is we just really need. I mean, I'm all for drafting guys, drafting receivers, but we have to make a trade. Like we said earlier, we need some proven talent who's going to come in and be an immediate impact from day one. No, like, taking time to develop, get used to the league. No, we need a guy like DeAndre Hopkins, a vet who can come in and immediately move the needle. Kind of like what we got in Anquan Bolden back in the day. I don't know if you guys remember that, but yeah, just saying, just saying.
He's over 30. He'd be coming from Arizona, like Anquan Bolden did. And I just
Yeah,
want to pull up the free agent wide receiver class for this next year.
sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because I don't think it's really that hot. I saw something about okay, here we go. You let me know if you see anybody in here that really you fancy. Nelson Aguilar, Sterling Shepard coming off of a torn
Nope,
ACL,
nope,
DJ Chark. I wanted him, but
nope.
I think if you get DJ Chark, you have to get somebody like drafted in the first round. I'll be honest. There's more than that. Randall Cobb, what a Raven signing that would be. Marvin
Yeah,
Jones, Julio Jones. They're going to go back in for the third time's the charm. Byron
right.
Pringle, Alan Lazard, Jacoby Myers, Juju Smith-Schuster, Jarvis Landry, N'Keal Harry, Matt Collins, Sammy Watkins, Jamison Crowder, a bunch of 2 and 3 guys is what I'm seeing.
Right.
I don't see the number one anywhere. Trade for him.
Got to trade. Got to come to one of these teams and make them an offer that they can't refuse. We need Don Costa back, man. Who's this
Yeah,
Eric guy? We need Don DaCosta.
the Don.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Exactly.
not every dollar counts. Every
Yeah.
trade counts.
Yeah. All right. We'll take a few more questions here before we get out of here for tonight. Sports Gaming YouTube says, do you think a 49er scheme would fit this offense well? I think we would need yak receivers.
I agree. We would need yak. I mean, I look at Jawan Jennings here, third option. He puts up numbers. Brandon Ayuk's been stepping up. Debo Samuel obviously was doing his thing. Hell, even Ray McLeod taking 70 yards, gone. They have Willie Snead on the roster, who was our number one at one point. So they're number 5 or number 6. That's the
Shout out Willie
difference.
Snead. Yeah.
Yeah, loved him. But yeah, I mean, I think it would, but you got to make more investment in the receiving core. I think that's even drafting and then signing, or drafting then trading for somebody.
Yeah. Yeah. Dre says here, definitely get a trade or draft a wide receiver first round. LOL probably do both.
Yeah,
We have to get that position right. I mean, you just have to in today's league.
yeah, and I'll be honest. I think right now this is maybe my way too early first round prediction. Corner or receiver. I think those are the two you gotta look at. Obviously, Marlon's been all pro, but another
Yeah.
corner is definitely needed after this year.
All right. So let's go ahead. We're going to go ahead and end it with this question here. This one's coming from Chike, my guy again. Says, what's it going to take for Steve Bisciotti to stack Harbaugh, Roman, and if he doesn't improve, McDonald?
I think
I don't
McDonald.
know. Yeah.
Yeah, I think McDonald is safe. I
Yeah.
don't
he's
have
good.
any for a first year DC in the NFL. Top 7, I think, in sacks. Defense is keeping us in games, considering they've been on the field a lot. I think he's
Right.
fine. I
Yeah.
think Roman's gone. This is me being blunt honest. I think Roman's gone after this year. Harbaugh has one more year to really. I'm talking Super Bowl or conference championship. After that, I think the leash could be cut. Then something else. That's just. I want to hear your honest take, but that's my honest take.
Yeah, I mean, I think I talked about it a couple episodes ago when we had Bobby on. I just think that if we fail again in the same fashion that we failed in the playoffs in the past couple of seasons, then I think Steve Bisciotti has to look himself in the mirror and look his team in the mirror as well and say, hey, look, something's not working.
Mhm.
Like we have to make a change. And historically, like I mentioned earlier in the episode, historically, when you make changes, sometimes it's for the good. Sometimes it might be for the worst, but I think it's worth exploring at least. You know what I mean? Like, there's no point in sticking with an offense that's been so stale, that we couldn't even get a wide receiver touchdown from week 3 to week 16. It's just, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make
Yep.
sense. So I don't know. And if Bisciotti doesn't do it, then I think that's more of an indictment on Bisciotti and what he thinks about the team and what he, cares about, really, what
Yep.
he prioritizes. That's just me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just one more thing on McDonald. The players love him. Just the way they
Yeah.
rally around him. He has all those guys behind him. I think McDonald has more guys behind him than Harbaugh does. That's my hot
And,
take.
and think about that, Alex. Like, McDonald is the youngest one on that coaching staff. No,
Yeah, he is.
I don't think that's a coincidence either. I don't think
Same
it's a
with
coincidence. I feel like they could probably relate to him better.
Zach Orr. I think that's why we've seen a major boost from these linebackers compared to
From
Rob Ryan
linebackers,
last
yeah.
year. No disrespect to Rob Ryan. Obviously, won Super Bowls, great coach. But Zach Orr coming in, guy who played for the Ravens, played linebacker, second team All Pro, undrafted free agent. I think these linebackers are a little bit more in common. He's a little bit more hip to the game. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. We're going to go ahead and leave it there. Thank you guys so much for coming out to this episode of the Purple Rain podcast. Before you get out of here, make sure you like the video. Like the video, guys. Leave a thumbs up on it. Helps us out a ton. Make sure you subscribe to the channel as well if you are new. Follow us on Instagram at the Purple Rain podcast. I know I'm giving you guys a lot of information right now, but go ahead and just follow us on Instagram at the Purple Rain podcast. Go on manscaped.com. Manscaped, manscaped.com. You can go on there. You can save 20% off plus free shipping if you use our promo code PRP because we are sponsored by Manscaped. For those of you guys who don't know. Also, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Sutton Def, like you see down below. You can find this guy over here on Twitter at SimplyAs10, on Instagram at SimplyAs10.prod. And with that being said, I'm going to let my guy Alex take us out.
And Flo, I do think McDonald has more of the locker room than Harbaugh. That's my hot take. Yeah, I'll say it. I really do think he does.
Love
yeah.
it.
Let's leave it there. Thank you all for coming through to episode 147 of the Purple Rain podcast. As always, stay positive, test negative, and one more thing.
Yeah, never, ever, ever forget to call God. It's been episode 147 of the Purple Rain podcast. We're going to catch you guys in the next one.